Hey there everybody, Matt over here back here with you. Once again, welcome back to Mob on TV. If you haven't clicked subscribe, please do so. Hope you guys are having a great time with this season number 2. We're on to episode number 4. As I said in the last episode, at the end of it, we're on to a huge episode today. This is the introduction to Ken Fisher's personal rocket, the very first one he made, named Betty Lou. So let's jump into it. Here we go. Okay, well, there's been a lot of questions in my email so far about this really famous Trainwreck amplifier named Reality Check. Actually, Reality Check is her nickname. Her real name is Betty Lou. And for those of you who are just tuning in, Ken Fisher named all the amplifiers women's names instead of serial numbers. So this being the very first rocket that he ever made is the one we're going to debut today, along with the danger burst going through it. So I had to get a lot of facts from JM from Trainwreck. He is the current builder of Trainwreck amplifiers under the family name, and also a guy named Derek Ferwarda. Derek has the second rocket ever made named Amanda, and the two of them were with Kenny when this whole creation started in 1989-1990. So I wrote down all the facts, and I'm going to read it to you verbatim, so that way there's no missed information, and maybe some of the emails will, the answers will come out already without getting emails on this. So here we go. From JM, from what I was told, Kenny originally built the rocket in 1989. I believe Ken realized he was onto something, and Derek played the amp and loved it. So Kenny built another and gave the better sounding one to Derek because he knew Derek was going to play the amp and it would get more exposure. The one Kenny kept was Betty Lou. I am sure Kenny did some tube changes since 1989-90, but not sure about any tweaking through the years. I don't believe so. It looks pretty untouched internally from its debut. The output tubes, and this is a question I already got, the output tubes in Reality Check, Betty Lou, are two Valvo EL84s. The other third one has a silkscreen JJ on it, but the internal construction is very similar to a Valvo. So I don't know what that, I don't know if it's a JJ and we don't know if it's a Valvo, but that's what's in the amp. The other tube appears to be in construction a Telefunken. So it's a combination of 3 different EL84s. Why Kenny did that, we don't know. The rectifier is an old Mullard. The tubes have not been touched since I received the amp. It is just as Kenny left it. I did not want to touch the amp for obvious reasons, as it being 100% original as Kenny left it. I would recommend reaching out to Derek, which I did, as he knows the history of why Kenny made the amp. I hope this info helps. Talk to you soon, and thank you for all the hard work with the videos. Well, John, you're welcome. I'm happy to be doing them. So I spoke to Derek. From Derek, from many conversations with Kenny, he kept saying he was going to build what he called a primeval rocket, which he later named just the Rocket. He wanted to make an open-sounding amp as opposed to the previous Express and Liverpool higher gain models. Most players at the time wanted more gain and dripping saturation, but Kenny himself was more interested in the opposite. So that's how Betty Lou came to be, later nicknamed Reality Check, an amp that very few that have visited the house even had a chance to play through. After inviting Derek over to hear the creation, Derek went nuts over the amp, saying that's what I've always wanted. Kenny quickly decided that he wanted to make a second one, and whichever one sounded better, Derek could own that. That's how gracious Kenny was to those he loved. Lo and behold, Amanda was born, and Derek rode off into tonal bliss. He has some really great videos on his YouTube channel playing through Amanda, and I really suggest that you check them out. I'm going to put a link in the description below for you guys to find his videos. So there's a little note from me. I wrote one myself. So for me, Kenny didn't make many rockets, which is why the price on them are much higher. They were also more costly to make, and he didn't think his high-gain customers would be into it. I've only heard about Reality Check, Amanda, another one here in New Jersey that's a Trem rocket, the one that Brad Paisley owns, and another one called Wiggle Woman, which is also a trem rocket. Also, on a side note, most of Kenny's customers pestered him for the brightness switch, which is on the Express and the Liverpool models. Kenny didn't care for that either, but he did it at the customer's request. My Express Marina does not have a brightness switch, something that JM did for me as per Kenny's original feelings on it. Okay, and that's all the notes I have. So we're going to jump into the video. This is some more Danger Burst fun. Get ready. This is Danger Burst through Reality Check, and then Danger Burst through Vivian, which is my rocket, my trem rocket from 2012. Here we go. Well, folks, there we have it. The first debut of Reality Check on the internet ever, and also compared to my Rocket Vivian. Amazing how close they are. Again, every Trainwreck sounds a little bit different, and my amp has different tubes in it. My amp has EI power tubes and a collection of Telefunken smooth plate 12AX7s. Also, I have a Mullard rectifier tube. So that's going to do it for us today. I hope you had fun with this episode. I had a good time making it. Next episode is going to be the same two amps. So another debut of Reality Check and Vivian with my 61 Stratocaster. Sorry Les Paul guys, which I am, but the Les Paul is not in the next video. But I know you guys want to hear what these amps sound like with single coil pickups, and my 61 Strat is probably the best judge of character. Make sure you click subscribe. Send me some email, info@mattoree.com. My website, mattoreeband.com. Hope you're having a good time. I'm having a great time. We're going to see you next week. Stay tuned.